Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. You know how you've been so curious about cozy gaming? Well, get this. We actually found a YouTuber, goes by Dream Observer, and they made this whole video about using games to actually boost your mood. It's pretty cool.
Definitely. I've seen some of their stuff. It's really interesting.
Yeah, and they're all about, using games for positive mental health and stuff, which is super relevant right now, I think, for a lot of people.
Definitely.
But before we jump in, I think we should maybe, define cozy gaming a little, just in case some people aren't totally sure what that means.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of what it sounds like, right? We're talking about games that give you those comfy, relaxed, joyful vibes.
Exactly. Like a warm hug.
Exactly.
So in this video, Dream Observer dives into this model. It's called the PERMA model.
So we're kicking off this intro video with an article that I found that I'm so excited to share with you. It's from the National Library of Medicine or the National Center for Biotechnology Information. This paper was a review of the state of play of research linking video gaming and flourishing and explores the role of video games and technology to improve mental health and overall well-being.
Have you heard of this?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. It's a pretty well-known framework in positive psychology.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. So yeah, PERMA, it stands for positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, accomplishment.
Well,
And it's basically supposed to explain, what makes life, good, what makes us thrive.
right?
And what's interesting? Dream Observer is really focusing on that first one, the P, positive emotions, because that's what cozy gaming is all about.
Makes sense, right? I mean, when you think about those warm, fuzzy feelings you get from a good, cozy game,
Yeah,
it's all about tapping into those positive emotions.
totally. And it's so easy to forget.
Yeah.
But games can actually make us feel like a ton of different things, not just excitement or whatever.
Absolutely. And the cool thing is, those positive emotions, they actually have some pretty awesome benefits beyond just, making you feel good in the moment.
Okay, so spill the tea. What are these benefits we're talking about?
Well, for starters, they can help to significantly reduce stress.
Oh, see, that I believe. Nothing like a good gaming session to just melt away the stress of the day, am I right?
Exactly. And not only that, but when you're less stressed, you're actually better equipped to deal with challenges and bounce back from setbacks. It's like building up your resilience,
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So it's like proactive stress management almost.
Exactly. But, and this is important, we're not talking about those fleeting moments of joy you get from finally beating a tough level or achieving something in a game. Those are great and all, but
But that's not what we're talking about here.
right, we're talking about those pure, unadulterated, positive emotions that just bubble up naturally when you're truly engaged in something you enjoy, the kind of joy that makes you lose track of time,
Like true, genuine happiness, not just a quick hit of dopamine.
Exactly, and that's where the broaden and build theory comes in.
So what's this broaden and build theory all about?
Basically, it suggests that experiencing those authentic positive emotions can actually broaden your mind and your thought processes.
I see.
So when you're feeling happy and content, you're more likely to be open to new experiences, new ideas, new people.
Oh, interesting.
And that openness, in turn, can lead to even more positive experiences and emotions, creating this wonderful upward spiral of positivity.
Wow, so more joy leads to even more joy.
Yeah.
Sign me up. That's amazing. And you know what? It totally reminds me of something Dream Observer mentioned in their video.
What's that?
So they talked about how much they love being in nature, like how peaceful it makes them feel. And get this, they actually look for games that have similar qualities.
Oh, that's really interesting. What kind of qualities?
Like they mentioned things like calming water sounds, or those beautiful sunset scenes that just make you want to melt into your chair.
Yeah.
Even the color palette of a game, they said it could evoke the same sense of peace they get from being outdoors.
Wow, that's actually so cool. I never thought about it like that before. But it totally makes sense. Those little details can really impact how we feel when we're immersed in a game.
Right. It's those little things.
Yeah.
And speaking of impact, I thought what they said about gaming and emotional regulation was super interesting.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The studies they mention, especially those focusing on school-aged kids, were super fascinating.
Yeah. Apparently there's a link between moderate gaming, and they emphasize moderate, and some really positive mental health outcomes.
Yeah, that was a big takeaway for me too. The research showed that those kids who played games moderately tended to experience less stress.
Seriously. Less stress. Kids these days have so much going on that's incredible if games can actually help with that.
It seems like it.
But-
They were also, according to the research, better at coping with things like anxiety and depression, and even had better emotional regulation skills compared to those who didn't play games at all,
Really?
or those who played excessively.
Yeah, everything in moderation seems to apply to gaming too, huh? So interesting.
It is. It really highlights the potential benefits of gaming, especially for our mental and emotional well-being.
Totally. But okay, I think the big question now is, how do we find our own cozy game? It's got to be kind of personal, right? Like finding the perfect pair of comfy pants or something.
It's not one size fits all. And luckily, Dream Observer offered some great advice for that.
Okay, I'm all ears.
They suggested a bit of self-reflection, like really asking yourself, what brings me joy? What are those things in life that make me smile effortlessly?
Interesting. So it's all about like tapping into your own personal sources of happiness and then finding games that align with those.
Exactly. And the best part is it can be any genre you can think of. Don't limit yourself.
So if someone's really into like the calming, repetitive motions of knitting, maybe game with crafting elements would be a good fit. Or if you love being outdoors, something set in nature.
Precisely. The key is to find those connections, those elements that resonate with you on a personal level, because what makes a game cozy for one person might be totally different for someone else.
So true. This has been so eye-opening. And you know what? It actually makes me want to ask our listeners something. So all of you listening out there, here's a little something to think about. If you could design your ultimate cozy game, a game built around your personal sources of joy and relaxation, what would it look and feel like? What elements would it have? Let us know. And that's a wrap on today's deep dive, everyone. Thanks for joining us.